Hello friends, I welcome you to EPG Pathshala. My name is Dr. Amit Katoj and I am working as Assistant Professor in University Institute of Hotel and Tourism Management of Punjab University. Dear students, I would be taking the module on Incoterms under the paper Cargo Operations and Management. After completing this module, the students will be able to know about historical background of Incoterms, terms for any transport mode, maritime terms, most commonly used terms, benefits and risks of terms, risks associated with the common use of trade terms, and patterns of Incoterms in action. Firstly, start with the introduction. An Incoterm, which is a tiny form for international commercial terms, is used to make worldwide trade easier by helping traders who are in diverse countries to recognize one another. Incoterms are trade terms published by the International Chamber of Commerce that are commonly used in both global and domestic trade agreements. According to Business Dictionary, Incoterms are known as international commercial terms. In this regard, 13 terms of sale accepted worldwide in assignment of costs and responsibilities between the buyer and the seller. Proposed, updated and copyrighted by the International Chamber of Commerce, that is ICC, they serve as global standards for uniform interpretation of common contract clauses in international trade. The last revision 1999 is named Incoterms 2000. In brief, these 13 terms of sale accepted worldwide are: number 1, C&F, that is cost and freight; number 2, CIF, which means cost, insurance and freight; number 3, delivered at frontier; number 4, delivered duty paid; number 5, ex quay; number 6, ex ship; number 7, ex works; number 8, FAS, that is free alongside ship; number 9, FOB, that is free on board; number 10, FOB airport; number 11, FOR oblique FOT, that is free on rail or free on truck; number 12, free carrier; and number 13, that is free carriage paid to and free carriage paid to and insurance. Now discuss about the historical background. International commercial or Incoterms were principally existence in 1936 and are restructured from time to time to obey the rules and regulations of modern trade practices. Due to these amendments, business bonds should specify which version of Incoterms they are. It has to be noted that the trade terms used in different countries across overlapping on the surface, but they actually have dissimilar meanings while they are used domestically in the countries. Incoterms are worldwide recognized and avoid mystification in terms of distance trade contracts by serving sellers and buyers to be aware of their obligations in any deal. These Incoterms are three-letter trade terms developed by International Chamber of Commerce (ICC) and widely used in global and local contracts for the public sale of goods. They are accepted by governments and shippers globally and are used to avert vagueness or misunderstandings. The commonly accepted Incoterms denotes the rights and responsibilities of each of the parties that enter into an agreement for the delivery of merchandise sold. Amendment in Incoterms took effect on 1st January 2011. The number of terms has been now reduced from 13 to 11. A number of terms have been eliminated and terms such as delivered at place, that is DAP, delivered at terminal, that is DAT, and delivered duty paid, that is DDP, have been added to the list. Now discuss about the terms for any transport mode. CIP, that is carriage and insurance paid. The seller pays for insurance as well as transport to the specified destination. Responsibility for the goods transfer to the buyer when the seller passes them to the first carrier. It is commonly used for goods being transported by container by more than one mode of transport. If transporting only by sea, CIF is often used. CPT, that is carriage paid to. The seller pays to transport the goods to the specified destination. Responsibility for the goods transfers to the buyer when the seller passes them to the first carrier. DAP, that is delivered at place. The seller pays for transport to the specified destination, but the buyer pays the cost of importing the goods. The seller takes responsibility for the goods until they are ready to be unloaded by the buyer. It is used for all transport modes. Seller delivers the goods when they are placed at the disposal of the buyer on the arriving means of transport, ready for unloading at the named place of destination. Parties are advised to specify as clearly as possible the point within the agreed place of destination because risks transfer at this point from seller to buyer. If the seller is responsible for clearing the goods, paying duties, etc., consideration should be given to using the DDP term. DAT, delivered at terminal. The seller pays for transport to a specified terminal at the agreed destination. The buyer is responsible for the cost of importing the goods. The buyer takes responsibility once the goods are unloaded at the terminal. DDP, delivered duty paid. The seller is responsible for delivering the goods to the named destination in the buyer's country, including all costs involved. Delivered duty paid means that the seller delivers the goods to the buyer cleared for import and not unloaded from any arriving means of transport at the named place of destination. The seller has to bear all the costs and risks involved in bringing the goods thereto, including whereby applicable any duty, which includes the responsibility for and the risk of the carrying out of customs formalities and the payment of formalities, custom duties, taxes and other charges for import in the country of destination. EXW or Ex Works. The seller makes the goods available to be collected at their premises and the buyer is responsible for all other risks, transportation costs, taxes and duties from that point onwards. This term is commonly used when quoting a price. FCA, that is free carrier. The seller gives the goods cleared for export to the buyer's carrier at a specified place. The buyer is then responsible for getting transported to the specified place of final delivery. This term is commonly used for containers traveling by more than one mode of transportation. Now I will discuss the maritime terms. CFR, that is cost and freight. The seller must pay the cost of bringing the goods to the specified port. The buyer is responsible for risks when the goods are loaded onto the ship. CIF, cost, insurance and freight. The seller must pay the cost of bringing the goods to the specified port. They also pay for insurance. The buyer is responsible for risks when the goods are loaded onto the ship. FAS, that is free alongside ship. The seller puts the goods alongside the ship at the specified port they are going to be shipped from. The seller must get the goods ready for export, but the buyer is responsible for the cost and risk involved in loading them. This term is commonly used for heavy lift or bulk cargo, that is generators, boats, but for goods transported in containers by more than one mode of transport, FCA is usually used for this. FOB, that is free on board. The seller must get the goods ready for export and load them onto the specified ship. The buyer and seller share the cost and risks when the goods are on board. This term is not used for goods transported in containers by more than one mode of transport. FCA is usually used for this. Now I will discuss the most commonly used terms. Now I will use the most commonly used terms in Incoterms. EXW or Ex Works. Buyer will pay all freight charges from the seller door to the door at the destination. The seller needs to ensure the freight is ready for shipping and provide all the correct documents, that is commercial invoice and packaging declaration. The buyer will have full control of the freight. FOB, free on board. Seller will arrange through their freighter forwarder the movement of the goods up to the origin port. The goods will then be the buyer's responsibility. Their nominated forwarder will take control from here. Freight and destination costs will be charged to the buyer. CFR, that is cost and freight. Cost from the seller's door to the destination port will be paid by the seller, given the seller is responsible for transportation. They also nominate the forwarder. The buyer will take care of the destination charges. CIF, that is cost, insurance and freight. Similar to CFR, but the maritime insurance cost will be paid by the seller. Insurance cover will up to the destination port only. That delivery at terminal. All charges up to the nominated terminal will be paid for by the shipper. Delivery, customs clearance and customs import charges will be paid by the buyer. The seller will arrange freight to the terminal through their freight forwarder. The buyer can have their own customs and delivery agent take over from the terminal. DAP, that is delivery at place. All charges as well as delivery to the buyer facilities will be arranged by the seller. Custom clearance cost can be arranged by either the seller or the buyer depending upon the agreement at the time of the freight booking. Import duty and taxes will be paid by the buyer at the destination. DDP, that is delivered duty paid. The seller will arrange and pay for all freight charges to the buyer's door including customs clearance, duty and taxes at the destination. The seller has full control of the shipment. Now I will discuss about the benefits and risks of terms. Any business deal in any part of the world may have some benefits and risks for both the buyer and the seller. Same is applied to Incoterms as they do have their own pros and cons. The major benefits and risks associated with the use of Incoterms may include, firstly I will discuss the benefits of using these terms. Two major benefits of using common trade terms can be described as the freight control and cost control. Freight control, working on tight time frames, or stock control, it is essential to know the status and position of freight at any time. In case of buyer, EXW, FOB, CFR or CIF, and in case of seller, that DAP and DDP may be used. Cost control. Knowing the cost of the freight helps to work out the true cost of products, which in case of buyer will be EXW, FOB, CFR, CIF, and in case of seller will be DAT, DAP and DDP. Also, risks of using common trade terms. There are certain risks associated with the common use of trade terms such as lack of visibility, stock control. The cargo once in hold is not visible to either seller or buyer as they can only track the status with a digital code assigned to them by the company. In case of buyer, DAT, DAP, DDP, and in case of seller, EXW, FOB, CFR and CIF. Second is unexpected costs. Forwarder can incur additional costs that buyer and seller haven't taken into account, which may result in loss of profit on a specific product. In case of buyer, CFR, CIF, DAT, and in case of seller, FOB. Now I will discuss about patterns of Incoterms in action. It has been noted that the terms EXW, CPT, CIP, DAF, DDU and DDP are commonly used for any mode of transportation. FAS, FOB, CFR, CIF, DES and DEQ are used for sea and inland waterway. Now I will give description of each term. EXW, that is factory, mill, warehouse, your door. Title and risk pass to buyer including payment of all transportation and insurance costs from the seller's door. FCA, pick a place after your origin to start. Title and risk pass to buyer including transportation and insurance costs when seller delivers goods cleared for export to the carrier. Seller is obligated to load the goods on the buyer's collecting vehicle. It is the buyer's obligation to receive the seller's arriving vehicle unloaded. FAS, Port after all origin port charges. Title and risk passes to buyer including payment of all transportation and insurance cost once delivered alongside ship by the seller. The export clearance obligation rests with the seller. FOB, Port same as FAS, risk passed to buyer including payment of all transportation and insurance cost once delivered on board the ship by the seller. CFR, destination port paid to arrival at destination port. Title, risk and insurance costs passed to buyer when delivered on board the ship by seller who pays the transportation cost to the destination port. Cost and freight means that the seller delivers when the goods pass the ship's rail in the port of shipment. The seller must pay the costs and freight necessary to bring the goods to the port of shipment. The CFR requires the seller to clear the goods for the export. The seller must provide the goods and the commercial invoice or its equivalent electronic message in conformity with the contract of sale and any other evidence of conformity which may be required by the contract. The buyer must pay the price as provided in the contract of sale. CIF, destination port same as CFR but includes insurance. Title and risk pass to buyer when delivered on board the ship by seller who pays transportation and insurance cost to destination port. Cost, insurance and freight means that the seller delivers when the goods pass the ship's rail in the port of shipment. The seller must pay the cost and freight necessary to bring the goods to the named port of destination, but the risk of loss of or damage to the goods as well as any additional cost due to events occurring after the time of delivery are transferred from the seller to the buyer. CIF, the seller also has to procure marine insurance against the buyer's risk of loss of or damage to the goods during the carriage. CPT, place at destination includes all destination port charges. Title, risk and insurance costs passed to buyer when delivered to carrier or seller who pays transportation and insurance costs to destination. Carriage paid to means that the seller delivers the goods to the carrier nominated by him, but the seller must in addition pay the cost of carriage necessary to bring the goods to the named destination. This means that the buyer bears all the risks and any other costs occurring after the goods have been so delivered. Carrier means any person who in a contract of carriage undertakes to perform or to procure the performance of transport by rail, road, air, sea, inland waterway or by a combination of such modes. If subsequent carriers are used for the carriage to the agreed destination, the risk passes when the goods have been delivered to the first carrier. CIP, Place at destination same as CPT but includes insurance. Title and risk pass to buyer when delivered to carrier by seller who pays transportation and insurance cost to destination. Carriage and insurance paid to means that the seller delivers the goods to the carrier nominated by him, but the seller must in addition pay the cost of carriage necessary to bring the goods to the named destination. This means that the buyer bears all risks and any additional costs occurring after the goods have been so delivered. However, in CIP, the seller has to procure insurance against the buyer's risk of loss or damage to the goods during the carriage. Consequently, the seller contracts for insurance and pays the insurance premium. The buyer should note that under the CIP term, the seller is required to obtain insurance only on minimum cover. DAF, border of country same as paid by seller to border all other charges to buyer. Title, risk and responsibility for import clearance pass to buyer when delivered to named border point by seller. Used for any mode of transportation, border of country same as paid by seller to border all other charges to buyer. Title, risk and responsibility for import clearance pass to buyer when delivered to named border point by the seller. DES, on board ship to destination port. Title, risk, responsibility for vessel discharge and import clearance pass to buyer when seller delivers goods on board the ship to destination port. DEQ, destination port includes duties and taxes but not destination charges or delivery. Title and risk pass to buyer when delivered on board the ship at the destination point by the seller who delivers goods on dock at destination point cleared for import. DDU, consignee door excluding duties and taxes. Title, risk and responsibility for vessel discharge and import clearance pass to buyer when seller delivers goods on board the ship to destination port. DDP, consignee door includes all charges origin to the destination. Title and risk pass to buyer when seller delivers goods to named destination point cleared for import. Now I would summarize the entire module. International commercial terms or Incoterms are used to formulate global trade easier by helping traders who are in diverse countries to recognize one another. Incoterms are identical terms used in international trade to indisputably describe the seller's and buyer's obligation as part of a contract, as multiple Incoterms exist. Therefore, sometimes seller and buyers often underestimate the value of Incoterms and their impact upon international trade. The use of Incoterms eradicates inconsistencies in language by giving all parties the same definition of specific terms within a trade agreement. As a result, the risk of problems during the shipment is reduced since all parties clearly understand their responsibilities in performing trade under the given contract. Many people connect Incoterms with freight charges. They are often used as a convenient way of confirming which party is responsible for paying the various charges which are associated with international transport, as they are frequently utilized by freight forwarders and carriers when issuing freight quotations or seeking clarification of who will pay their fees. However, Incoterms cover a much wider range of responsibilities and obligations for a seller and buyer in an international sales contract, such as who bears the risk in case of any loss or damage to goods at any specific point in an international journey, which party is responsible for loading or unloading goods, or for arranging and paying for inspections to cargo, who is accountable for producing documents, submitting export and import customs entry, or arranging export and import licenses, and a range of other contractual obligations. Using Incoterms correctly as element of a sales agreement provides lucidity for both parties, gives certainty over expenses, and reduces the risks of disputes and disagreements with clients or suppliers. However, using the terms without understanding the implications of option can lead to unforeseen costs, delays, or discontented clientele. That's all. Have a great future ahead.